Hey, this is Ralph, and in this video I want to create a small JavaScript that'll change the status of a hamburger icon. Now in the last video we did some styling here, basically CSS for this particular page so that we could create this hamburger icon. And basically the way it functions is if I change the class attribute for the icon from mn_icon_close to mn_icon_open, then the appearance of this button will change. So there's the standard hamburger icon. I need to hit refresh, so let me change it over to close now. It'll go from that X, or the traditional 3 hamburger icon. Now, that's going to be pretty convenient for us because then we can use JavaScript simply to change this particular class. So I'm going to head down to the bottom of my page. Now, of course, in real life, it'd be nice to do this on an external JS file, just like it's good to do external CSS. But for demo purposes, I like to have everything kind of self-contained on one file. So let's go ahead and write out a section of script. And this is going to contain one little function. And I'm going to go ahead and call it my show hide nav. There we go. Now this function is going to have a couple parts to it, but not very complicated parts. First, I'll just declare a variable for my mn_icon. Let mn_icon equal document.get element by ID mn_icon. So basically the icon I'm referring to is right up here. It does have an icon for it, or I'm sorry, it has an ID for it, so that's what I'm referring to with my script. And of course its class name or class is going to be referenced also as well. Okay, so that's all I really need from that. Now that I've got that variable, I'm going to go ahead and create a little if statement. So of course with an if, we have our test. What are we testing to see if is true? So basically my mn_icon is the class name for that equal to mn_icon_open. Now if my class for my mobile nav icon is set to open, then clicking the button, we'll use the setAttribute method for the class attribute, and I'm going to change it to mn_icon_close. Now it looks kind of weird, but just so you can see, if my class is set to open, then clicking the button, which will trigger the function, is going to change the class to close. So basically from open to close. Else, if it's not one, it must be the other. So else I'll just do mn_icon setAttribute class to mn_icon_open, because it's either one or the other, and I need to have little quotes on there. And that's pretty much it for this function. If my class is open, then clicking the button will change the attribute to close. Otherwise, clicking the button is going to change it to open. Just toggles back and forth. Now I do need to call this function, so I'll do document.get element by ID mn_icon add event listener. I'm going to do this on click, and the function in question is my show hide nav. Okay, takes care of that. Let's see how it works. And go ahead and refresh, and sure enough I can now click this, which is changing the attribute, which of course changes the style of that hamburger icon. But I do want that little animation effect. In the previous video with the styling, we gave each of the sets or styles that it could be, either open or close, slightly different arrangements, and you saw them when I was clicking, but I want the animation to affect. So what I'm going to do is head up to right here. The divs within my icon are what I'm animating. So I'll use a transition property. I'm going to use all as my keyword because I want to change both opacity and rotate, opacity and transform basically. I'm going to do this over 300 milliseconds, and I'll set that to linear. Control S to save, head back to my browser and refresh. Now when I click this button, I get the cutesy little animation effect. And that's really all there is to it. So in one stage, we had the different styling for the various elements. And of course, we'll associate those styles with different classes. And then our script simply looks to see what the current class is and then changes it to the opposite class. Pretty easy to do. Have fun.